Hello. I'm going to be talking about my computational photography final project, which is on multi-flash imaging, and I'll specifically be using multi-flash imaging for edge detection and non-photorealistic rendering. So just an introduction into how this works is that we'll be using a camera that has multiple flashes, as stated, and the way this works is the flashes are positioned at different locations and directions of the camera, so these capture different uh, orientations of the shadows. So as you can see in this diagram over here, a flash positioned at 1, location 2, and location 3 produce these different shadows, as the flash at location 1 produces these orange and yellow shadows, and the flash at 2 produces these green and yellow shadows. So as you can see, the combination of all of these shadows allows you to get a full depth view of the object instead of just a shadow in one direction. So by doing computations and fusing these images together, we can actually get an outline of the object by its depth and shadows, and use this to create our sort of cartoonized image. So how I did this is I actually created my own prototype of the multi-flash camera. To do so, I acquired 4 different flashes and spaced them equally apart on a box and placed them in front of the camera. I initially tried to place them on the camera itself, but that prototype failed as the camera contraption was just falling off the tripod due to an unevenness in weight. Therefore, I placed them right behind the camera, but extending forward so that they would be at the same plane as the lens, and I used a square box to place them evenly apart. So the approach that I took to create this stylized image was first I detected the edges and then created the final stylized image. To detect the edges, I first captured the 4 flash images so that each edge of the object was shadowed in at least one image and not shadowed in at least one image. Then, using these 4 flash images, I computed the max image, which is an image without any of the shadows. Then I created ratio images, comparing the flash images to the max images. So what this basically did is found the area that was shadowed in each image. And then I used a Sobel filter in the direction of the shadows to compute the silhouettes in the directions of the shadows in the 4 images. Once I had that, this was basically 4 different crops of the shadow, basically, of the shadow edges. So to create the edge around the entire object, I had to combine these 4 silhouettes into one fused edge image. Then, once I fully had the edges, I created a blur of the max image, or like the image that had no shadows. And this was used to stylize the image by combining the edge image and the blur image for a final cartoonized image. So here are some of my results. So first I tried this out on the source images of the paper that I was basing this off of to check my results before taking my own pictures. So first we have the ambient max image, and then we have the result after getting the depth edges here in the black. Then I actually inverted this image so that we have the edges in black rather than the white, so that'll look more like that cartoonized image when fusing. And in the bottom left, we have the blurred image. As you can see, it's similar to the initial image, but some of the details are blurred out to help us achieve this cartoonized look. And then we combine this blurred image and the edge image to compute this final image, stylized image in the right bottom corner. Next, I took my own pictures and completed the same process on these. So first I have the ambient image in the left corner, and the blurred image is next. Then we have the depth edges image. As you can see the bear's outline, but it is not as strong as what I had in the original image, and I think that this was due to some malfunctions with my prototype, as there were some slight shifts in the image as I was taking them. Then we have the final fused image in 2 different ways. First was with a low intensity of depth edge filtering and a high intensity. I tried this with an elephant, and I tried this under dark lighting rather than the ambient lighting to compare. And so this is the ambient image. There's some lighting due to other rooms having light, but the door was closed. Then I have the depth images, and as you can see clearly an outline of an elephant, so that was some success. And in the left bottom corner, we have the blurred elephant, and in the right bottom corner, we have the fused image, which I think looks more clear than the bear. So which I think looks better than the bear as it conveys the details with less noise, and this may have been due to the lighting that was being used. Moving forward, the next steps to my project would be to further improve upon my prototype, as the duct tape and uneven surfaces were not working well with my current prototype, and I would think about using smaller, lighter flashes and also possibly creating like a 3D printed holder for these flashes so that they stay put rather than being taped on. I would also explore different lighting options as I was limited in the areas that I had to take pictures. And as you can see, just having the ambient lighting versus dark lighting made a huge difference, so I would want to experiment more with different lightings. And yeah, that's my project. Thank you for listening.